Hello, all, and welcome to All Red. Perhaps I'm going to make a statement here, and I don't think it's far-fetched, but is this the deepest Liverpool team we have seen in recent years? We're going to walk through the incredible amount of squad depth that Arna Slot has at his fingertips, and we're just going to talk through how important this is for Liverpool's four trophy charges that they are still a part of this season. So let's dive in, Aaron, and start at the back. Really, I think probably the best 1-2 in the world, which is Alisson Becker and Chiesa and Kelleher. We don't really need to talk a whole lot about them because, Alisson might have a little bit more criticism than Kelleher this season, apart from that Newcastle woe for Kelleher. But really, I mean, he still is one of the best, and I think he's kind of playing back into form after the injury. But fantastic. If Alisson were to go down again, I don't think anyone would have a whole lot of worries about Chiesa and Kelleher stepping in at the back. We're going to look here at our defense and just look at, this is probably the area in the team, I would say, where we do need reinforcements. Because we've seen on that left side of the defense, there are just a few worries, I think, with Tsimikas and Robertson, although I think Tsimikas has done pretty well when he's come in. And then, you look at Van Dijk, Konate, the backups there are potentially worrying. But then we've got two really good right backs. So what are you thinking about the depth here, Aaron, that we have on the back line?
Yeah, people get quite offended when you talk about that left side and they're like, Robertson's, this guy has won everything at Liverpool and, he's this, he's that. And it's no criticism to Andy Robertson. I just believe that he's played at such an intensity for 7 or 8 years and been arguably the best left back in European football.
Yeah.
Arguably the best left back in European football during that period. His assists, his fitness levels, his pace, he has been awesome.
Yeah.
He isn't anymore. That is evident over the last maybe year, 18 months. I'm not saying he's dropped off a cliff. Defensively, he can still have good games. The fitness levels have dipped. The injury record has dipped. And this guy is, if we have a mistake in that back line, on the odd occasion, it's Trent, but most of the time this season has been Robertson.
Yeah.
He's had a struggle. Tsimikas is just like a 6.5 out of 10 player. He's a really good backup, Tsimikas, but he's not a starter. Yeah. But Robertson is not a starter right now. And unfortunately, sad to say, I think Robertson is not done in football. But I think if we want to be competitive and stay at the top, we need the new Andy Robertson with Andy Robertson to bring him through and educate the lads. This is what you need to be doing. This is what you need to be. We need that next Andy Robertson. And I'm not sure whether that's Milos Kerkez, Sam. You and I have had this conversation.
I don't know.
That could be someone else, mate. That could be someone, 15, 20 million in a Club Bruges or an Anderlecht or one of these teams that can be turned into a machine, and I think that might be the way we go because it's Liverpool Football Club. Yeah,
Kerkez is kind of the popular replacement at the moment. I think with the connections to Bournemouth through Richard Hughes and, the highlights that you can see online. But if you look at Milos Kerkez and the numbers, I don't know that Arna Slot's going to want to go in for him because the numbers just aren't there. The stats, the analytics, it's I don't know. It's mediocre at best. Maybe the eye test is what everybody's looking at, but I'm not convinced. But I do trust Arna Slot and Michael Edwards and Richard Hughes to find a good replacement there on the left. I'm going to highlight that because I do think it's an area of concern. Let's go into the midfield where it's interesting, Aaron. Because before the season started, everybody was saying, we have to sign a six. We have to sign a six. If we don't sign a six, we're gonna struggle for top four. And now I feel like this is probably one of the strongest areas in our team sheet is this midfield duo, where obviously you have the unknown of Gravenberg before the season started. And now, I think statistically, Gravenberg has been the best in his position in the world this season, which is incredible and brings an incredible amount of depth to our midfield, especially with the way he's been able to stay on the pitch for the entire season. And now you have a McAllister and Gravenberg, which I don't think any Liverpool fan would trade for any other midfield duo, especially in the Premier League. But you've got McAllister and Gravenberg, and you have Curtis Jones, which, some people would maybe want to criticize him at times. He's had some really important moments for the team. And now you have Wataru Endo, who I think is starting to win over the fan base. Whenever he comes on the pitch, it's just fun to watch.
Yeah, I love him. I love Endo. I love his enthusiasm. I love his no-nonsense play. I think he is. Listen, for me in that 6 role, I'd have Endo over Jones. And that's just my personal opinion. I like Jones in terms of a silky smooth player. I think Jones is that. I think Jones, if he just moved the ball a little bit quicker, is twice the player he is. But he has had a good season, Jones, and he's had some games where he's ran that game. Jones has ran games this season. But Endo is just a machine. But the only thing that goes against Endo is his age. He's 31, coming up 32. He might even be 32 now. So, apologies if I've got that age wrong. But a new Endo. That would be my opinion. If we go for a 6, Sam, it's a new Endo. Yeah.
Yep. I like that. I do think because of just the grueling nature of these two positions with McAllister and Gravenberg, that it would be nice to have, the squad depth here, Aaron. I'm looking at this in a way that's like, okay, would you be comfortable putting in this player into a game that is a must-win? Let's say, a Liverpool-Arsenal Premier League clash. We would classify that as a massive game. And who would you be comfortable if they had to come in? If Gravenberg goes down, would you be comfortable starting Endo? Or if Konate's down, would you be comfortable starting Kwanzaa? That's the type of squad depth I'm talking about here, where I think we're starting to see Arna Slot, and potentially probably more in attack than defense, but we're starting to see Arna Slot trust his squad depth a little bit more. And part of that is you've got guys coming back from injury, where I think Arna Slot is much slower to implement them into the team than Jurgen Klopp would have been. But we're starting to see the fruits of that with guys here up on the top of our screen. Let's move to Szoboszlai and potentially Harvey Elliott. I think Elliott can come in and play a couple different positions, but I would expect that that Arna Slot sees the value of Harvey Elliott. He could obviously play on the right wing, but when Elliott comes in and is able to play in that 8 to 10 style role and roam around the top of that 18, I mean, we're starting to see it. We knew it was there. I think he just needed time to come back and get into fitness after the injury, and Arna Slot has said exactly that. So, Szoboszlai for me has been absolutely brilliant these past couple weeks. Seems like he's really starting to grow into that role that Arna Slot wants him to play. And Elliott now is back, and we're starting to see late game heroics like we saw last season, and that's fantastic. So this midfield trio right here and the backups that we have, those 6 players, really, really good, Aaron. Really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move to the front line. I'm putting Salah and Chiesa kind of together there because we have the Gakpo Diaz combo, and then we've got Nunez. I'm putting Jadon Danns in there. I know he hasn't featured a whole lot, but I do feel like he could come in and he could make an impact. I don't expect Arne Slot to try that out in big games. But, if Jota is fit, I feel like with Jota, I've said this before, just use him as an impact sub. I don't think he has the ability to be a starter. I really don't.
It's a
Give him
shame.
20 to 30 minutes a game. That's where I think we're seeing the impact the most with him, and it might allow him to stay a little bit healthier because it's just not happening at the moment. But obviously, we've got two really good options on that left side, Gakpo, Diaz, and then we're starting to see, this is the big topic right now, Aaron. Federico Chiesa looked really, really good against Lille. What are you seeing from him?
Hunger. This guy wants to make an impression. Oh, yeah. I think he feels this is his maybe last chance saloon. He is a quality player, and maybe 3 or 4 years ago, we were looking at this guy thinking, oh my word, imagine he signed for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Mate, he played in the Euros, and he was possibly the best player in the Euros. He was electric.
Yeah.
This guy was so good, so quick, so direct. And I was looking at him for Italy thinking, oh my God, we need players like this.
Yep.
And unfortunately, he picked up an ACL and he had a really tough time. And he is having a tough time with injuries, but I believe Slot has managed him really well.
I agree.
I think Slot needs to be convinced by him because of his injury record. And I think he might be start thinking that with Jota as well. Yeah. I think he may start looking at Jota and thinking, I can't really rely on this guy.
Right.
But I think Chiesa is doing enough to earn 15, 20, 30-minute cameos and maybe even starting the FA Cup game against Plymouth. It's starting to do what was said was going to happen with Chiesa. We're going to get him fit. We're going to build him up. We're going to beef him up, ready for the Premiership, and then we're just going to release him.
Yeah.
And I think this is maybe what's happening, Sam. I think they're building Chiesa. Mate, I watched him the other night against Lille, and that cutting in and whipping it towards the far corner, I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
I love this. I want this guy to score more than I want a Nunez to score, a Salah to score. I want Chiesa to work, because imagine what it could be if he works and we start seeing this guy scoring 10, 15 goals, and that 12 million looks like a masterstroke by FSG.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's only 27. And, we're starting to see those glimmers of brilliance from him and what he could become for Liverpool. And it just highlights, the extra option now that Arna Slot has. I don't think Arna Slot is the type to listen to the fans, right? Everybody has been like, where's Chiesa? Why isn't he playing? But I think he has taken his time in getting Federico Chiesa up to speed with the speed of the Premier League, but also fit in making sure that Chiesa is strong enough to last. And I think we're starting to see Arna Slot trust the likes of Federico Chiesa, Harvey Elliott, and it's very, very exciting, Aaron, because when you look at this squad depth, it is probably the most important factor you can have in a run like what Liverpool seems like they're tending to do now, where they stay in the cups, they're in the FA Cup, they're in the Carabao Cup, they are obviously at the top of the Champions League table, so you would expect them to make a run there and continue that run. And then obviously you've got the gruel of the Premier League across 38 matches. And so, another season where you've got 60 plus games and you have this now incredible squad depth. I think you said it earlier today, Aaron. I think it was you that said you had Arna Slot, who for the last 6 months has really only trusted maybe 13 to 14 guys out there on the pitch. Now we're seeing potentially 17 or 18, which is massive. Absolutely massive.
I put it in my message to you earlier, mate. This is what I'm starting to see with Slot. What a blessing. Yeah. And what a thing to be able to do, Sam. You look at Arsenal right now, and we need this, we need that, we need a striker, we need a midfielder, Supermendy, Liverpool have all of that sitting there. And even with 3 or 4 injuries, we have the next man to come in. And I know Arsenal don't have that. And they are, having to put kids on the bench.
Yeah.
Mate, we put the kids on the bench. But not only did we put the kids on the bench, mate, we put them in. Klopp put them in and said, you know what? Go and do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. McConnell, go and play, mate. Yeah. Bajetic, go and play. I'm going to know if you're good enough. Yeah. Go out there against Man United, Arsenal, Chelsea, whoever. Remember the team we played against Chelsea?
Yeah.
It was the kids.
Absolutely.
Basically the kids, mate. Go and play.
Cup final.
Mate, it's a cup final.
Yeah.
Playing the kids.
Incredible stuff. And, we could go further into this depth with the academy and the talent that's coming through there. But Aaron, how are you feeling about just the rest of this, season from now until mid-May? What are you feeling?
We got some big games coming. Yeah, I think we've been in a little rut, and I'd like to think that maybe that's our dip. Yeah, we've had our dip. The Brentford game was huge.
Yeah,
Nunez coming on and doing what he did was like, it's almost like a sigh of relief off all of the players. It was like, we've just had our dip. Them 3 or 4, the Fulham result, the Newcastle result, the United result, the Spurs result. We've been in some fairly poor form. And then Nunez goals, it's almost like you could just see them go, we needed that.
Yeah.
We needed that. And I think for the rest of the season, we got some big games. We got some huge games. And in the next, I was watching another channel earlier. It was AFTV, and they were going over Liverpool's next 5 league games. We've got City away, Bournemouth away.
Yeah.
We've also got the rearranged Everton fixture, the last ever fixture at Goodison Park. We've got 3 big games there. With Ipswich in there, this has to be a must-win.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to think about going to Bournemouth and Everton and saying, do you know what? We're just going to batter you.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to go to Spurs in the return fixture and just batter them while they're in terrible form.
Absolutely.
And then we go to City. And the City game with their new players and their new spirit and everything that's going right at City right now, yeah? The money pumped in and we're a new club and we're doing well and we're going to fight for top 4. Whatever happens in that game. Win, lose or draw, we still have that comfortability of being in a strong position with points in the bag.
Yep.
And I'm happy with that, Sam, because I actually feel, listen, Wolves away for Arsenal at the weekend. Dependent on how Cunha is feeling, because if Cunha is trying to push for a move to Arsenal, he might have something to prove.
Yeah.
I'd be playing him thinking, go and show me what you can do.
Right.
Yeah. Go and play Arsenal off the park. At Wolves is a tough game.
It is.
Yeah, and Arsenal are licking their wounds at the moment. We'll see how Arsenal get on tonight in the Champions League against, I think it's Dynamo Kiev.
Yep.
It's a big game.
Big match. You look
I'm in a good position with the rest of the season, Sam. I think we look really good.
I think so. And again, a lot of the fans are upset about the lack of signings. If we were to pull off 2 or 3 trophies, and I'm not saying that it's guaranteed we will, but if we do, without really investing in this squad, that's just more salt in the wounds of everybody around us.
That's
right?
Miracle level. That's miracle level.
Yeah.
This is what FSG expected of Klopp. It's miracle level stuff, yeah?
Yeah. It is, and at the same time, you look at the squad that Arna Slot inherited, and it is pretty remarkable. But it is, it goes to show you the brilliance of Slot to come in and say, Gravenberg, I'm going to make you world class. Yeah. Szoboszlai, you're going to become a menace. Salah, you're not done yet. Go out there and break records. And then you take somebody who's just absolutely broken, like a Chiesa, and you say, we're going to get you in, we're going to fix you up, and you're going to become a very, very important part of this team.
Absolutely.
You look back, Aaron, at just kind of the little dip that we've been through. And you get through that gauntlet, which started in late October with Arsenal, Brighton twice, Leverkusen, City, Real Madrid, Newcastle. And you get through that period in a brilliant way. And then it's kind of this letdown, right? You have a draw against Fulham. We had that one went down to 10 men. You have the fixtures against Man United and then Tottenham, where we lost in the cup. And then even the Nottingham Forest result kind of felt like a letdown. And it was like, okay, who are we really? Is this the end, or is this just a little bit of a dip? And I agree with you. Those 2 Darwin Nunez goals at Brentford were just like, okay, I think we're going to be okay. That was such a crucial moment for Liverpool. And then, you come out against Lille and really just run that game. And now it's, PSV, Ipswich Town, Bournemouth is going to be, I expect that to be a tough match, Bournemouth away. But you've still got this kind of padding now between, can we ramp back up for February through May, where there's going to be so many big games in there. It does kind of feel like we're still in the calm before the storm. But we know with Liverpool, it's usually up here. It's the mental game, right? Can we get up for an Ipswich Town? Can we get up for an Everton right away at Goodison? Can we get up for Wolves at home? Those are the matches that win you titles. They really are. So I'm less concerned about City at the Etihad. I'm less concerned about, facing Arsenal. I think it's in May. Was that like May 10th? We host Arsenal at Anfield. We just need to take care of each game in front of us week by week, and that's what we're doing at the moment. So exciting times, Aaron. What a strong squad, and we'll see what Arna Slot is able to do with this batch of players. It's been brilliant so far. I expect it to continue. Absolutely.